Welcome back to Tears of a Drag Queen, where we rank anything and everything Drag Race. Since the debut of Shade the Rusical from Season 6 and our most recent Rusical Wig Loose, we decided to rank every US and All-Stars Rusical from the show, from worst to best. And if you've seen our ranking list before and enjoy this type of content, don't forget to subscribe. Now let's get into the video. Number 13, Social Media, the Unverified Rusical, Season 13. Taking each major social media platform and personifying them into a cast of wildly unhinged character is an easy plot device that leads to all kinds of ridiculous onstage shenanigans. It's fun, it's campy, it's what you'd expect from a Rusical. The queens all did a pretty good job in this challenge, with a few exceptional standouts and a few who we must simply swipe left on. Rosé, as expected, killed her role as Foxy, Denali and Gottmix Russian bots had us rolling, and while the judges were focused on a mistake Tina Burner made in a character, we couldn't help but absolutely adore her performance as the evening's MC. Meanwhile, Simone and Candy both fizzled their respective roles as Instagram and LinkedIn, while Elliot with 2T's TikTok impersonation felt like it simply could not pass the vibe check. The song parodies here are pretty good, rewriting both the music and lyrics of Barbra Streisand's Don't Rain on My Parade, and nods to Broadway staples like the Cell Block Tango and Do You Hear the People Sing. While we had some good performances, no recognition for Utica's amazing rapping verse, Social Media, the Verified Rusical, falls at the bottom of this list for overall the concept being uninteresting and pretty forgettable. Number 13, Pharma-Rusical, Season 10. It's tough to remember a single performance from such a strange Rusical. The Vixen made the most out of what she was given. Mayhem Miller's ballad about anal options was objectively funny. We had Miss Cracker and Monet Exchange giving us decent performances. The rest largely got left in the background. So who came up with this? It's sort of funny, but ultimately very strange and random to take the format of drug infomercials and transform them into drag puns that sort of become songs. We don't need to hear a song about a drug called badonkadongs that will give you a bigger butt. Even when it's trying to be over the top and campy, it still fizzles out. The songs of the Rusical are disjointed, skipping around frequently from hip-hop to Broadway to pop at a frenzied pace. Overall, especially in a season that had another much better Rusical, the Pharma-Rusical was a forgettable experience, and one that you certainly don't need to think about. If you're looking to rewatch old episodes, feel free to skip this one. Number 11, Glamazonian Airways, Season 7. While being slightly more coherent than the Pharma-Rusical, Glamazonian Airways still elicits the question, why? Spoofing airline takeoff videos makes a bit more sense than satirizing pharmaceutical commercials, but it isn't exactly ripe for comedy. Mrs. Kasha Davis served a full ham dinner, which is the only sensible choice for this strange lip-sync experience. Ginger Minj earned her win with the choreography and her wacky faces. Most of the other queens in this challenge did a serviceable job, with only Katya, Miss Fame, and Sasha Bell standing out for their struggle with performing the number. With a top 40 pop feel to each of the songs, there's plenty of continuity here. There's nothing particularly exciting about the selections, but they certainly aren't bad. Glamazonian Airways is another rare swing and a miss among the Rusical challenges. Especially when compared to the later entries on this list, this Season 7 challenge failed to take off. Number 10, Cher, the Unauthorized Rusical, Season 10. Considering that the Cher Show, an actual Broadway musical exploring the life of this pop icon, was already in the works at the time of the Rusical's release, it's safe to say that this concept was solid. This is a simple, fun way to give each queen the spotlight by having them highlight a different era in the goddess of pop's decade-spanning career. The good largely outweighs the bad here. Cameron Michaels' 60s Cher had great vocals and a very funny impersonation. Monet Exchange proved that she could sing the house down, and Miss Cracker delivered one of the best and frankly underrated performances of the show as vocoder comeback Cher. A few queens stumbled like the Vixen and Asia O'Hara, but even then, the queen still worked this number out. While the performances in this challenge made us believe, the music was not strong enough. The verse for Miss Cracker's comeback Cher, including I Know the Gays Will Buy This and I Know Britney Will Try This, is far and away the best, while the movie star Cher section sounds like it's pulled from another project entirely. When the music works, it works. Unfortunately, there are more than a few sections where it doesn't. The format of this unauthorized Cher Rusical, along with some high-quality performances from the queens of Season 10, make up for the music's dip in quality. Number 9, Trump, the Rusical, Season 11. Some fans were cautious about Drag Race making light of the controversial president and his lackeys with this Rusical, but looking back, this was probably the most on-brand way for Drag Race to address the Trump administration. Turning Grease into a political spoof where the queens get to openly mock those surrounding Trump was about as good of a concept as we've seen in these Rusicals. The queens did a great job on this challenge. Silky stole the spotlight with her Oprah Winfrey number. Nina West's turn as Sarah Huckabee Sanders was gut-busting. Ariel nailed the leading role of Shandy. Evie Oddly's deranged Kellyanne Conway was exactly the right amount of crazy. Sugar Cane and Scarlet Envy stole their scenes. And on top of that, without uttering a single word, Ginger Minge's guest star turn as Donald Trump himself was the show-stopping moment of this entire RuSical. It's not easy to create multiple parody songs about political corruptions in the style of Grease, but Drag Race managed to do it. While not every number was a winner, the vast majority of them hit their marks as needed and definitely walked the line between imitation and original. Trump the RuSical had the potential to fall flat on its face, yet it managed to be one of Drag Race's most consistent RuSicals. It was over the top, funny, and kept the spirit of Grease intact throughout, all while getting to throw up the middle finger to the commander and chief.
I'm the Kardashian wrecking ball, but don't call me Miley. I'm stealing the spotlight and no one can help.
Number 8, Kardashian the Musical, Season 9. Now this is what we call a concept. Taking a Broadway sensation like Hamilton and parodying it by changing the subject to reality TV royalty is a perfect way to get both the competing queens and the audience at home invested in what's happening. Unfortunately, even with such a good concept, two queens ended up bearing the weight of this RuSical on their shoulders. Alexis Michelle's unhinged portrayal of Kris Jenner was perfect for this challenge, and Shea Couleé's Blac Chyna was an absolute scene stealer. But in a musical centered around the role of Kim Kardashian, it's hard to watch Cynthia Lee Fontaine's underwhelming performance in the spotlight. The music isn't bad per se, but when the reference point you've chosen to mimic is a musical like Hamilton, there's suddenly a lot of expectation to live up to. The club song featuring Britney Spears, Paris Hilton, and Lindsay Lohan was fun, as was the momager, but there were other moments that fell apart. The idea of Kardashian the Musical is greater than the sum of its parts. While the concept should work, the only true memorable parts of this performance were Alexis Michelle, Shea Couleé, and Nina Bonita Brown constantly insisting that she should have been Blac Chyna. Number 7, Bitch Perfect, Season 8. With Pitch Perfect's continued cultural dominance back in 2016, this challenge was a perfect way to honor and poke fun at the impact of acapella. There's no need for a convoluted plot or fleshed out characters when all we really want to see is our favorite drag queens competing in different collegiate singing tropes. Go back and watch Pitch Perfect and try not to have a great time. Everyone in this challenge is giving their best, campiest performance art and absolutely working out the choreography. The late great Chi Chi DeVayne is an immediate standout. Her handstand twerk continues to impress us to this day, while Thorgy Thor's embrittled energy is infectious. Kudos to every single one of those queens. This is some of the best music ever put to the stage of the RuSical challenge. Whether they were going for a bubblegum pop on Jealous of My Boogie or hip hop on Geronimo, every acapella arrangement in this performance was absolutely stellar. It may not be the first one that comes to mind for some fans, but Bitch Perfect is far and away one of the best RuSical performances ever brought to the main stage. Everybody say underrated. Number 6, VH1 Divas Lip Sync Live All-Stars Season 3. Simplicity, as it turns out, is key when putting together a RuSical. With Drag Race and All-Stars having made the official move over to VH1, creating a musical around the network's iconic Diva series made perfect sense for the show, and it felt like a simple, easy way to both reimagine tracks from RuPaul's catalog and let the queens embody some of their favorite chart-topping artists. Simply put, everyone did great. Vanilla Creme was born to impersonate Julie Andrews, Shangela's Mariah was spot on, Trixie Mattel could pull off Dolly Parton in her sleep, and BB looked like a spitting image of Diana Ross herself. Even Thorgy Thor's turn as Stevie Nicks, while less impressive than her co-stars, was still unbelievably entertaining to watch. Spanning genres like pop, country, rock, and more is a Herculean task, but each song fit every queen and made the performance that much more fun to watch, anticipating just how they would take a song like Peanut Butter and make it into a Celine Dion showstopper. Overall, from top to bottom, this challenge checked every box it needed to and earned its Diva title. Number 5, Wig Loose the RuSical, Season 15. It's rare to see a parody go beyond the scope of its source material. Sure, on its face, Wig Loose the RuSical plainly plays off Footloose, but to capitalize on the actual real-life drag band spreading throughout the US with a light-hearted yet very poignant performance is nothing short of genius. This is one of the smartest concepts for a RuSical we've ever seen. The judges themselves said it. No one did a bad job in this RuSical. Every queen excelled in their respective performances, whether it was Sasha Colby delivering high camp with the character of Carl, Mistress Isabel Brooks serving villainous realness as preacher teacher, or Anitra bringing the audience to genuine tears as Mama Bacon. Each performance from each queen was not only campy and funny, but also layered and dramatic when necessary. Leland put something special in this RuSical. Instead of repurposing old RuPaul songs or spoofing tracks from famous pop stars, we got an entire set of original, extremely catchy musical theater songs that sounded like they could have been coming off a Broadway stage. The singers featured on each of the tracks were phenomenal, the compositions were correct, and the musicality throughout made Wig Loose feel so much more than your average Drag Race challenge. Overall, within 3 minutes of the start of Wig Loose, it became clear that this RuSical was going to come down to history. With a smart concept, exceptional performances all around, and phenomenal music, Wig Loose the RuSical stands head and shoulders above its competitors, although I still give it a couple notches down just because of Lucy LaDuca's bottom placement. Number 4. Shade the RuSical, Season 6. As the first ever RuSical, the idea behind Shade is simple. What happens if we take some classic stage tropes and reflavor them for drag queens? It's not particularly inventive, but hey, it's not really meant to be. Courtney Act, Adore Delano, and Benda LaCreme are absolute stars in this RuSical. Courtney and Adore nailed the live singing, and Benda LaCreme is pure camp as the eye-patched, leopard-printed villain. Outside of that, as the first ever RuSical, this musical was designed to be campy and funny, and it completely nailed the job. It kicked off the RuSical challenge trend on Drag Race and featured a number of highly entertaining, memorable performances. This RuSical has to be put in this spot by default. Number 3. Herstory of the World, All Stars 2. Taking a tour through history guided by a handful of powerful women who helped shape it, brilliant. Not only is the concept easily accessible for fans, but it opens the door for hilarious performances and creative liberties with music throughout history. Even the judges had a hard time finding faults in these performances. They ended up slinging out Katya and Ginger Minj, both who excelled in the challenge. Ginger's absolutely unhinged Catherine the Great was hilarious to watch, and Katya's Princess Diana felt spot on, even though the writers didn't really give her much to do. Of course, the two scene stillers were Detox as a neon-colored opera-singing Marie Antoinette, and Alyssa Edwards rootin'-tootin', gun-shootin' Annie Oakley. If there had been an audience, we would have expected a standing ovation. With every song, the producers upped the camp factor, making the challenge even funnier than it needed to be. Making hard pivots from heavy metal to opera to salsa, the music in Herstory of the World is insane, and yet every song works for the context it's put in. While it was far from the first RuSical, Herstory of the World certainly helped cement the RuSical status as a mainstay challenge on Drag Race, thanks to how exceedingly well it was executed. Number 2. Madonna, the Unauthorized RuSical, Season 12. The fact that we don't have a real-life Madonna jukebox musical is frankly criminal. With the songbook as iconic and versatile as Madonna's Drag Race, would be foolish not to pay homage to the Material Girl career through a RuSical. First things first, yes, Jan was robbed. The New York City Queen slayed every vocal, nailed every dance move, and was a near-perfect embodiment of the early Madge. But when you look at the rest of the talent in this RuSical, it's understandable why the judges had such a hard time choosing who should win the challenge. Everyone was phenomenal. Gigi Good's True Blue era impersonation was endlessly entertaining. Crystal Method was ridiculous, and even Bretta, who ended up sashaying away, did an excellent job portraying the iconic cone bra phase. For the music, one word: composition. Nailing a parody song is a difficult task, but each and every track in the Madonna RuSical perfectly evokes a specific song in her catalog without directly using its melody. Every song managed to be both funny and good, a feat that no other RuSical accomplished quite like this one did. Overall, this RuSical had just about everything. Incredible performances, a strong well of material to pull from, excellent orchestrated music and stellar choreography. This musical is truly one of the greatest of all time and would be incredibly hard to top. But there is just one more musical that just excels this one in the slightest. Number 1. Moulin Rouge, Season 14. This story is about drag. The idea here is pretty simple. Taking the hit film and Broadway musical Moulin Rouge, retranslating it using the music of RuPaul herself, and casting drag queens as well as Leland and Leslie Jordan in the roles. With a built-in and already beloved story, you have yourself a winning formula for a RuSical. So, can we get a standing ovation? Throughout this marvelous RuSical, each of the 7 queens did a fabulous job pulling out all the stops to ace the monumental task of telling the story of Moulin Rouge, armed only with RuPaul's repertoire. Some queens sparkled more than others. Lady Camden in particular stole every moment she appeared, and Willow Pill also managed to shine as the Green Fairy with her high energy, ratcheting up performance in the show's back half. And talk about some underrated performances by Daya Betty and Deja Skye. Everybody was just so eye-catching. For the music, producers Leland and Gabe Lopez nailed the assignment. Each of the tracks throughout the Rusical took RuPaul's songs including CoverGirl, Freaky Money, and Jealous of My Boogie and gave them that dramatic, brassy twist that makes Moulin Rouge so fun to listen to over and over. Also, listen closely to that Green Fairy melody. You'll hear the beautiful vocal stylings of Ali X giving a truly unhinged performance. Overall, Season 14's installment of the annual Rusical Challenge was, to borrow a phrase, spectacular, with a clear-cut concept, some entertaining takes on RuPaul's originals, and a series of show-stopping performances. Moulin Rouge will go down as one of the best Rusicals in the show's history, and I believe it is the best of all time. And that's gonna do it for this week's rankings of all 13 Rusicals. Which ones were your favorite? How would you rank them? If you like this video, feel free to give it a like, and if you like this type of content, please subscribe. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I'll see you soon.
The rest only post when we're not wearing panties. Oops, I think I just did it again.